Hi, I'm Jonathan Sweet, and this is Talking Textiles, where we talk to successful companies about their experiences in the fabric industry. This podcast is brought to you by the Makers Division of the Advanced Textiles Association, a not-for-profit trade association representing the international specialty fabrics marketplace. ATA hosts several exciting events throughout the year, including the annual Expo happening October 12th through 14th in Charlotte, North Carolina. Expo 2022 is the textiles and specialty fabric industry's flagship show for sourcing, networking, and education. To learn more about the Expo and other upcoming events, visit textiles.org/events. Today, we are interviewing Tom Auer, president of Bearse USA, and Robert Rosania, chief executive officer of Ehmke Manufacturing Company. Our guests today are instrumental in the planning of the demo area at the 2022 IFAI Expo, so we'll talk about that today as well. Tom and Bob, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you, Jonathan.
I think where I'd like to start is let's talk a little bit about your businesses. Tom, we'll start with you. Can you tell us a little bit about Bearse USA and how you got into the textiles industry? We know that your company's been in business for more than 100 years, if I understand correctly.
Yes, that is correct. Our company was started in 1921 here in Chicago. Our headquarters resides in the same building that we started. Back then, we are a company in the sewing business as contract manufacturers for other companies building their products, sometimes private label, OEM, bags, cases, pouches, accessories is our focus.
Great. And how about you personally? How did you get into this industry?
Yeah, so I'm third generation in the business. Both my grandfather and great uncle were part of the team that started the company. And so my father worked here for over 40 years and retired. I actually started out in the corporate world for 10 years before joining the company, but I've been here since 2000.
So Bob, same question for you. Tell us a little bit about your company. And you guys are also another company with a long life of nearly 100 years, I think.
Sure, Jonathan. We're not quite as old as Tom's company. We were started in 1929 in Philadelphia by a former professional baseball pitcher, Howard Ehmke, who retired from baseball after setting the World Series strikeout record in 1929 for the Philadelphia A's against, ironically, the Chicago Cubs. He retired from baseball and came up with the idea of making the infield that covered the baseball fields. So that's how the company got started. Through the years, the company did very similar items as Bearse USA, as Tom's company, making a variety of bags and cases, commercial awnings and canopies. And it wasn't until 1992 when I joined the company along with a high school and college friend of mine that we started doing work for the military. We both had educations, degrees as mechanical engineers, and we started concentrating on those items that are a little more technically sophisticated, and that drove us to the military marketplace. So today, about 80% of our products ends up in the hands of the military. I got started. I wish I had a legacy as Tom just described, but I do not. I was not involved in the textile industry at all. And I'm almost embarrassed to say I got talked into buying this small textile company in Philadelphia with my previous business partner, who was a high school and college buddy of mine, probably over one too many adult beverages, and talked me into buying this struggling textile company back in 1992. And that's what we did. And we ran it together up until his retirement just a couple years ago in March of 2020. I find myself now as the sole owner and CEO of Ehmke Manufacturing Company.
Well, great. Thanks both of you for sharing that. It's great information to hear your backgrounds in the industry. So Tom and Bob, this question really is for both of you, and feel free to, whichever one of you wants to jump in. How has being a member of ATA, of course, formerly IFAI, helped your businesses?
Jonathan, our company, as Tom's, has a long history with the IFAI and now the ATA. Our previous owners were part of the various divisions at IFAI and in some leadership roles. I served on the board of directors of the IFAI for 7 years and also served on the board of directors of the Professional Awning Manufacturing Association, the Advanced Textiles Association, and the US IFI. So our company is heavily involved in the activities of ATA. I've taught many educational tracks at IFAI Expo and also served on the certification boards in previous years. So we're linked to IFAI. It's a fantastic opportunity to get to know our supplier base in particular, meeting fabric suppliers, webbing suppliers, hardware suppliers. It's the clearinghouse for that type of networking opportunities. And I developed lifelong friendships with business associates through the IFAI. So it's been very helpful to our business over the years.
That's great to hear. Tom, any thoughts on that for you guys?
Yeah, I think Bob gave a great answer. To me, the number one benefit has been just enhancement of relationships across industry. I'm often asked the question, like, what's the big difference between big business, corporate business, which I have some experience in, and small business? And it really comes down to like your vendor relationships. Often, a small business, when we are looking for, let's just say, a fabric supplier, we don't issue an RFQ like a corporate company would and, send out 20 emails trying to solicit information. We ask our friends, we ask our connections in the industry, say, who do you recommend for this type of fabric or this type of equipment or et cetera? And so it's based on, a lot of our business decisions are based on our relationships and information that we get from other people. And ATA really provides, a great connection to many people across industry that helps us do those types of activities here.
Yeah, exactly. Both of you are very involved in the association, and certainly glad to hear you're getting so much out of it. When you talk to other members, other people in the industry, what are some of the top issues you're hearing that they're concerned about, the challenges in their business? And then I guess really for you guys, what are kind of your top challenges, things you're most worried about right now?
On the sewing side, if you're a well-run business, chances are you're not worried about, what your competition is doing or, external threats, but you're pondering like, how can I grow my capacity? How do we make our manufacturing processes more efficient? How can we attract, train, and retain like both employees and then our manufacturing know-how for the long term? Because workforce development and attracting people into manufacturing is definitely what I feel our number one challenges. Just to, I feel like I have a legacy business and I'm trying to preserve this for another 100 years. But being able to attract the people into sewing and into the textiles industry, I think is at the top of the list.
Jonathan, I would echo what Tom just nailed it. Our top three issues are workforce development, and workforce development. Attracting and training those employees that can turn into semi-skilled and skilled operators. In the past, you were competing for that employee in the manufacturing community. Now with the elevated salaries of the service industry and others to stay in business, you're now competing for an employee versus a fast food chain that may pay that employee a starting wage of $18 or $19 an hour. So it's a challenge. And Tom and I both have the unique pleasure of not only having generational companies that we own and run, but we have these issues that we're trying to attract employees in an urban setting. And the past 2 years have shown us anything. It is that the employee has many options, and some of those options are even just to sit on the sideline for now. So that's it. That's the biggest challenge, the workforce development. Because if in our company, if we follow our lean process, or lean manufacturing process, and do the things that we're trained to do, we can operate successfully. But the people, at the end of the day, it's the people that put the needle in the fabric that make my company run. So we're always looking to add and expand people, and that's becoming more and more challenging when you look at the just how the employment situation is nationally and mostly locally here in these urban settings.
So what are you guys trying to do to address that? Is there anything you've come up with that helps you educate people about the opportunities in the industry, or makes the position more attractive? Anything that you guys have found that's working for you so far?
Yes, you have to approach it. I use the analogy in our military customers, our war fighters. It's an asymmetric battle, meaning the ways you used to attract employees in the past of putting ads in Indeed or the local paper, that process does not yield the outcome that you want. So you have to look for unique ways of attracting employees. A couple things that we've done: we've worked with the local manufacturing extension partnership, MEP organization, the Delaware Valley Industrial Resource Center, to spin up what we call Ehmke University, which is a funded process to train sewing machine operators. And there's a number of local companies here in Philadelphia that are building a cooperative to go ahead and support that issue or that program. And hopefully within the next 12 months, we'll start seeing the fruits of that program. In addition, at Ehmke, we undertook an initiative to hire 12 employees with disabilities. We worked with Drexel University and a national placement center to attract those individuals with disabilities into Ehmke to train them up to become floor workers and sewing machine operators. That program has mixed results. It's been a challenge, but we were able, with a goal of 12 to date, we were able to train and maintain 2 employees. So we'll continue to look at that aspect. And thirdly, it's not promoting a job. It's not promoting a position. You're promoting a pathway forward for folks. So you need to become a company of preference, meaning when an employee joins, they're joining a bigger mission. And in our mission, there's a banner that hangs over our shop floor that says, "Our troops deserve your best." And that's our primary mission here at Ehmke. So we sell that mission to potential employees that want to join and put their best effort forward to support the military. And in turn, the way our production cells are set up, each sewing machine operator can participate in a bonus cell that gives them an opportunity to earn extra money based on their productivity as a team. So there are some things that we're taking to this asymmetrical approach to attracting employees, and it's still a struggle. We have about 20 open positions right now that if we had semi-skilled sewing machine operators, we would hire them right now to work for our company.
Okay, yeah, definitely trying to be creative. I think that's what a lot of companies are doing these days. Tom, anything you wanted to add to that?
Yeah, that's a great answer. And I would just say, you have to accept where the employment market is and whether we like it or not. It's a very difficult hiring market. So we've had to increase our wages, increase our benefits, try to make the package as comprehensive and attractive to people as it possibly can be. Also, in addition, we've really refined our internal sewing training program. Our expectation is people are going to walk in the door without any skill at all. And so we're prepared to be completely patient with folks as they keep working and developing their skills. And we communicate that and try to support the people so that they can be successful. One of the common things is, I think probably across all sewing organizations, is if you can bring in a person, you retain them for a year, they'll likely stay for a long time. But that first 12 months is really critical. So you have to be responsive to them. You have to be checking in with them, supporting them in any way that they can. And as long as we see progress, and it might be very little progress on a daily basis, but as long as the arrow is pointing in the right direction and the person is still interested in becoming a more productive employee, then we can work together and make the situation work. And so that's been our approach over the past 12 to 24 months.
All right. Yeah, definitely a big problem for the industry. And I know you guys are dealing with it too. So thanks for sharing your thoughts on that. What I'd like to do now is pivot a little bit to talk about IFAI Expo and the demo area we will have there this year. So throughout IFAI Expo, we'll have members working in our demo area, which is a hands-on educational space offering a shop-like experience on the show floor. You can see live sewing demonstrations. That'll be in booth 327. And Tom and Bob, can you tell us a little bit more about what people can expect to see in the demo area this year?
So I had the pleasure of sort of kicking off the demo booth last year, and we set up a special space on the expo floor where we're bringing in machines and people operating the machines. And it's a great way to be a show and tell, to share knowledge of fabrication techniques. Last year, we did some techniques, reviews of sewing techniques, and we built backpacks, which we were able to donate to the local Boys and Girls Club of Nashville, which was great. And really, it's just an emphasis on sharing knowledge. And it was a great experience being there, having people just come by and talk sewing. We just don't share enough knowledge with other people in the industry. And it's a great opportunity for us to do it. I'm on the advisory board for the Makers Division, and we do host, regional workshops where we get into some technical skills and so forth. And what I really like about this opportunity is most of the members, or a large majority of the members of ATA, always come to the expo show. And so rather than the company having a separate expense of going to a regional workshop, why not include it while they're there at the expo show? That's, our big event of the year, and we'll have the most attendance there. So we're able to use that opportunity to share knowledge to the best of our ability.
I applaud Tom's effort and the Makers Division of the ATA for starting the demo booth. It's a fantastic opportunity to just have a discussion about sewing. And when I look at it, if I can attend the various demonstration times during the ATA Expo, it's a very efficient use of time. But more importantly, I hope my people walk away with just a nugget or two of techniques or processes that we can then bring back to our company and execute to become better. So I've always admired Tom and Bearse and the way they approach things. So when I was asked to help support the demo area this year, I certainly wanted to jump on it because it does afford my folks an opportunity throughout Expo just to simply talk about sewing techniques and approaches. So I do highly recommend any member who happens to be at Expo to stop by and share in that network opportunity. Expo is a great chance to meet the folks at your suppliers in the booths and that kind of thing. They're creating these opportunities for companies like Tom and my company, the end product manufacturers. The demo area gives that great opportunity for those end product manufacturers to to talk about sewing. So I highly recommend to stop by.
Great, thank you. One of the great things about Expo and the demo area specifically, like you said, is that chance not only to see the sewing in action, to see that demonstrated, but really it's a great opportunity to network with your fellow fabricators. And why do you think that is important as a business, to spend some time talking to your suppliers, talking to end product manufacturers, spending time with people who have businesses like yours?
So, both Bob and I have been in the business for a long time, and I think we both approach this as, you always have to be open to learning, and you don't always know what you don't know. And so it's a very important part of my business to make sure that I'm getting out there to all trade events, but especially a great show like Expo, to get out there and to have conversations, because we can get really tied down to our own organizations and have a very narrow focus of what we're doing and so forth. And I always am amazed, like when I go to an Expo show, I come back with like 3 or 4 nuggets where I had no idea I was going to learn this, or a piece of information that I got, or saw a new piece of equipment or something, where you come back and you say, wow, those are 3 or 4 things that I picked up, and we definitely need to implement them here. And so that might be a conversation with a fellow fabricator. That might be a conversation with an equipment manufacturer. That might be a textile mill that's developed a new fabric. All that stuff is right there to be learned as you walk the floor. And so it's exciting to have 3 companies now involved in the demo booth as well. I would say that. So I would really encourage people to come by the demo booth each and every day, because it's going to be hosted by 3 different companies on Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. And so you're going to learn different information from different people based on their experiences and what they know. But I promise you that Bob knows something that I don't, and I may or may not know something that he doesn't. But I'm sure people can learn from all of us across the 3 days.
And that's a great answer. And I can assure you, you know more than I do in this industry. But I agree that often small business owners, small, mid-sized business owners think that the problems that exist within their 4 walls are unique to them. It's not the case. These issues that you may be experiencing probably permeate throughout the industry, and to have a chance to network with folks, and Tom brought up an excellent point, to be a continuous learner, to listen, that maybe, hey, perhaps there is something of the way a shop is set up, or a process, or one-piece flow, or a myriad of opportunities to learn you can take back to your business and make yourself better, make your company better. I've been an owner at Ehmke Manufacturing now for 30 years. And each time I go to the ATA Expo, as Tom mentioned, I come home with a bag full of tricks that I've learned from others. And not only that, but also from the attendees, the suppliers, and just industry experts that you would meet at the ATA Expo.
Well, thanks so much. And let's talk a little bit about the specific work you guys are going to be doing there in the demo area. I understand it's going to be clear sling packs. Can you tell me a little bit more about the projects you'll be working on?
Sure, and I'll start with this, Tom. As Tom mentioned, he pioneered the demonstration area last year. So when I was asked this year to come up with a product, we ran the gamut from maybe introducing a body armor component, or a mission-specific military backpack. But because of the constraints on the time that we may have in the demonstration unit, the 5 sessions of 45 minutes, we wanted to design a bag that was practical, and also exhibits different sewing operations. So the bag that we've designed and will be fabricating in the demonstration unit is a clear PVC backpack with a front zipper pocket and a sling carry. Ideal for, ironically, we're in in Charlotte, it would be ideal to put your belongings in and go attend a NASCAR race. So it's that type of bag that you could use in different stadiums and venues where they have a restriction on the type of bag you can take in. So we wanted to make it practical and also something that shows well as you're sewing it. And I think we have that in the clear plastic backpack that we've designed bringing to ATA.
Yeah, and the way that we've structured the educational sessions is we have 5 different sessions over the 3 days of the show, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. On Wednesday and Thursday, we have an 11 a.m. session and a 1 o'clock p.m. session. And I really encourage people to come by. During those sessions, we'll be talking about specific techniques that go into specific sewing operations that go into building the Sling backpack. So we'll really drill down on the technique. We'll be actually using the sewing machines that are supplied to us by some of the vendors there at the show, which is fantastic. Those will be 2 sessions on Wednesday and Thursday, then a final session on Friday to wrap it up. And again, it's going to be hosted by 3 different companies across the day. So you're going to be getting different perspectives, and we may approach things different and so forth. I think that would be really, I'm interested to see it coming by. There's also the opportunity to walk through that area outside of those specific time slots and talk to the representative of the companies. I think we're going to be bringing in some representative samples of products that we make. And if you have specific questions about any of those types of items, we'll be happy to answer those things as well.
Great. Thanks, guys. And as Tom and Bob have said, the demo area will be open all 3 days of IFAI Expo. And that is October 12th through 14th in Charlotte. And you can find everything you need to know about Expo 2022 and future shows at IFAIExpo.com. So hopefully our listeners will have a chance to come down to Expo and check out the demo area. Any other final thoughts? Anything else you would like folks to know about what you're going to be doing there at Expo?
I would add this, right? If you're a current member of ATA or considering joining ATA, an association like this and the expo like this is only as powerful and rewarding as the effort you put in. I know it can be costly to send folks to the expo or exhibit at expo or participate in the activities at expo. But what I found is that return of that investment comes back multifold to your company. So I would just encourage those that are considering attending, take the next step, get more involved, become a member of a division leadership, offer your skills to teach an educational track, or get involved in the demonstration area next year. Because at the end of the day, what I found with this organization, the more you put in, the greater you're going to receive. So that would be my recommendation, Jonathan.
Yeah, and I'd just like to reiterate, Expo is the premier show for textiles on the domestic market right now. It really is the best opportunity that we have in the sewing business to talk to so many vendors all at one time. Going back many, many years ago, there used to be a bobbin show and a couple different shows. But to me, the reason why ATA adds so much value is this particular show is the premier one. And it's really an opportunity to get out there and to see what's available. And it's definitely a worthwhile investment of your time and money to come out and take advantage of. You won't even realize how much you learn from coming to a show like this. So I encourage everyone and hope to see everyone in Charlotte.
Well, great. Thanks both of you, Bob and Tom, for joining us today. And I think it's been a great conversation, and hopefully this is going to get people really excited about Expo and the demo area.
Thank you.
Thank you, Jonathan. And thank you, Tom. It was a pleasure sharing the podcast with you.
Likewise. Thanks, Bob.
Thank you for joining us for this episode in the Talking Textiles series. This podcast is brought to you by the Advanced Textiles Association, a not-for-profit association representing the international specialty fabrics marketplace. Learn more about events, workshops, and webinars ATA hosts throughout the year at textiles.org/events.